Let's get a little up close and personal with 2025. What does this year mean for your zodiac sign? Today, Astro-Numerology reveals. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. It is good to be back. You know, it was interesting enough. It was around about this time last year before the new year of 2025 starts that we did what was in store for the zodiac signs for 2024. And obviously, it's got a nice response. It's got overwhelming thousands upon thousands of reviews and whatnot. So it's very, very nice. And so this year, I'm going to add a little bit more bells and whistles to it to make it even more interesting for all the zodiac signs as well as the dates of births too.
Thank you so much for well, I would say returning guests, but actually you're right at home.
I do feel at home, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right here at home, but it's good to have you. Thank you so much for having your knowledge and wisdom here and being willing and able to share that with us. And I just want to say to the viewers, thank you for listening to Astro Numerology Revealed. And not too long ago, we just released the 2025 forecast, and it's telling you about the universal year of the nine in 2025, what you can expect and what that's all going to be about. But it was the universal year, so it's for everybody. So we
Mhm.
wanted to get a little bit more in detail with it and let you know what you can expect for your zodiac sign. But I can't even go any further without saying thank you for the support. Thank you for listening to the video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. Those things mean a whole lot to us. And because of the questions that you all asked in the comment section, we will be answering some of those questions before we get started. So I want you to tell me, are you ready for 2025?
Well, I don't have a choice. Yes, we all have no choice. So, yes, I'm ready for 2025. So, you know, they said you can run, but you can't hide. So, this is a case in point.
Wow. And I'm so glad we'll be able to share it because awareness is key. Knowing about what's going to happen and how it's going to happen will help you prepare for the year. So I'm going to start with some of the questions that we received from the last video. One of the first questions is about the year 2025 being a nine and the oppositional number and zodiac sign to the number nine is the number two and the zodiac sign of Cancer. We don't want you to be afraid. We don't want you to be worried. So, can you tell us what it means? What if you're a Cancer, or what if you're a number two? What should you do next year, and what should you know?
Well, there are always exceptions to the rule. So, for example, because we're in the year 20, going into the year 2025, which adds up to nine, each number is ruled by a planet in the heavens. Well, the number nine is ruled by the planet Mars. So if one would talk to an astrologer, they would tell you that the opposition planet to Mars is the moon, which is Cancer. So it's not that Cancers won't do well because there'll be an exception. A Cancer who's born on June the 27th, a Cancer that's born on June the 9th, and a Cancer that's born on June the 18th. So although they are Cancers, numerically, their dates of birth adds up to a nine. The 9th, the 18th, 1 plus 8 is 9. And then the 27th, 2 plus 7 is 9. So there are always exceptions. So what about those Cancers who aren't born on a date that adds up to a 9? Well, it simply means that it's not your strongest year. It'll be coming up in the year 2027. That's for sure. But the point is, because that'll be an 11 universal year for those that are way up there. And it simply means everyone get their term. But the point is that each of us have days and dates and months that are very good for us. And what happens is, as I began to go through each of the zodiac signs individually, I decided to add a few more bells and whistles to versus the 2024 forecast, which is I'm going to be talking about all the months that are favorable for monies and business, all the months that are favorable for relationships, good, bad, or indifferent, all months that are favorable for traveling to get out of Dodge, and all months that are favorable for the health. And and also the theme that's going to follow you throughout the 365 days of the year.
So you're going to drop some newness on us today.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I just want to tell people also, don't worry if you are a Cancer or if you are born on a number that adds up to a two. First of all, go into the year thinking positive. Go in with the positive mindset and know that the best is going to happen. Make sure that you're cautious in everything that you do. You're patient. You're looking before you leap. Just make sure to take your time with this year. It's nothing to be afraid of, it's nothing to be worried about. Just take your time. This is just awareness.
Really, it's like we are cosmic weather forecasters. If you know for Cancers it's going to rain this year, you don't go out without a raincoat or a rain boots or umbrella. You understand what I'm saying? You're still going to get to where you're going to, but at least you won't be soaking wet by the time you get from point A to point B. So that's the point. It's not about hiding under a shell or a rock because you can't do that anyway. Is the point is how to prepare. So we therefore know how to dress according to the weather. If it's very cold, we know we don't go out there in a short sleeve shirt and no shorts on. You know what I'm saying? You know that you must dress appropriately for the conditions or the weather such be. So that's all. And if you understand it like that, it's a cinch.
Yeah, and then think about it the way that I do. If you know how weather forecasting is, especially where I'm at, most of the
Yeah.
time they say expect snow, no snow arrives. Expect rain, no rain arrives. So just because there's a possibility does not mean that it's going to happen.
And see, knowledge is very important. Knowledge is very crucial. So it's like it's a difference of one being in the dark. It's like you've been in the dark and you got punches coming at you. But then there's a difference when you turn the light on, which you shall call knowledge, where you can see where it is because at least you can duck or hit back. Okay? It's that kind of energy.
True, true. So we're going to move on to the next question. The next question is, what if my universal year, what if our universal year, which is a nine, matches my personal year? What does that mean for me, and why does that happen for some people?
Well, it happens because of the month and day combination. Let's say you got a person born September the 3rd, okay? Well, to get the personal year, you take the month, the day of that person's birth, but you add it to the year that you want to know about. So if I took somebody born September the 3rd and added to it 2024, they will be in a 3 personal year. So their personal year is in lockstep with their date of birth, and simply means that gives them an advantage to be more productive, to get more things done with ease, less wear and tear and stress on the pocketbook, the soul, the mind, the body. And it's like being in the right place at the right time. So this year, particularly, since we're going to be entering a 9 personal year, let's say we got somebody born September the 9th. Okay. Well, when you add September the 9th to the year 2025, that adds up to a 9. So not only is it a 9 universal year, they're in a 9 personal year, and they're also born on the 9th day. So they would be my new best friend, whoever they are. Okay. Because that means everything is in alignment. And also keep in mind, too much of can almost be as bad as none of. What do I mean? Well, you can have everything so much in alignment that if you don't appreciate it, it can go to waste. Or in the reverse, where people who may not have had much can now be in a position to make, a mountain out of a molehill, so to speak, really take it to another level. So it all depends. It all depends on your attitude, the conditions of things around you. And it's a lot. It's which is why they see professionals such as you and I.
Thank you for that one. I have another question for you.
The one thing I like about you, Miss Kimberly, you always got questions.
Hey,
Thank
somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it.
you. Your next question. I'm sorry, dear.
Okay. I forgot what I was going to ask now. See? But we'll hear it in a few minutes. You always say at the beginning of each month, if your sun, your moon, or your ascendant is in the sign of whatever the zodiac sign is that you're talking about. Can
Hmm.
you please tell us what the sun, the moon, and ascendant represent for everybody?
Well, in brief, people know about their astrology sign. That is the sign that gives us our outer characteristics, our personalities, the way we express and articulate ourselves in the world, things of that nature. The moon, though, is that side of us that people can't see. I could be smiling in your face, but I can't stand your butt. Okay. It's like that. So that's what the moon is. The moon represents that inner side that we feel or see mentally within ourselves. And the ascendant represents the way we physically appear. So let's say by appearance, most Aquarians are tall, described as being tall in height, like Capricorns. Capricorns and Aquarians are tall in height because it's ruled by Saturn. That's the Saturn finger right there. It's the tallest finger, right? And that's the finger that rules Saturn, which does Capricorns and Aquarius. However, you'll have some Aquarians that are short because their ascendant, for example, might be in the sign of Virgo, which shortens the height of a normal Aquarian. So that's what we see. And a lot of times when we look at people, we're really looking at their ascendant because we're judging their character. If they're tall, if they're good looking, if the guy's very handsome or the woman is very attractive, maybe her ascendant is in the sign of Cancer or Taurus. Libra or Taurus, for example. So it's just the way we appear, which is why they said you can't judge a book by the cover.
Yeah, you're right about that. You can't judge a book by its cover. The next question is, we have a few Mercury retrogrades each year. And this year, I think it's going to be three. Am I correct?
As a rule, there are three. Sometimes I think about year before last, about 2023, I think there were four retrogrades, but normally as a rule, there are three. And they all last a period of 21 days. And of all the planets go retrograde. But what happens is that because of the fact that this appears more often, three times a year for 21 days, Mercury is the planet of communications. So if your phone is acting up, or, and in fact, when we're doing this interview, Mercury's in retrograde right now. So, a person said, well, I've been calling you. I'll be saying, I ain't get no answer, you know, little things, the phones, the computers, the cars. I thought you said this time. No, you said that time. It's those kinds of things. And so it's not bad. It's just mean you got to be on top of your game. You can't just assume. There's this saying, assume makes a you and you of me. Okay. We ain't going to go into all that. But when you just assume things. So when Mercury's retrograde, you can't say, well, you know what I mean? I mean, you could, but if you're not on the same page, then that would make all the difference in the world. And let me say this too. As of November the 19th, just a month or so ago, less than a month, because we're in early December right now as we're recording this for 2025, Pluto, the planet of transformation, went into the sign of Aquarius, the planet of revolution. and it will stay there for 19 years. In other words, it's going to be there from November of 2024 until November of 2044. It's going to stay there a total of 20 years. So there's going to be a lot of transformations. So those at the top who think they're big dogs, okay, they're going to be taken down a peg or two, as they say. For those who've been struggling, and 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 I'm not just struggling for like handouts. I'm talking about you've been doing everything humanly possible to get to the top, and there've been roadblocks. All of that will be removed, and you will go to the top. So it's going to be a transformative 2 decades up the road. So it's going to be very, very nice. But it started this year going, and the more we get into the years ahead, like 2025, 26, 27, the more we get into the rhythm of it. Right now, we just in the very beginning of it. But when it reaches its peak around about 2034, 35, man, it's going to be a wrap.
Can you just imagine what the world is going to be like during that time? Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting.
And I've been hearing people talking about the Mercury retrograde problems. I even had an issue today. There was an appointment. I thought it was at one time, but it was earlier than what it really was. But I did catch it on time. So I'm glad I was like up on it, paying attention. And I've been hearing a lot of people, and it happens all the time. Like during Mercury retrograde, I hear people complaining, oh, this is not working. Someone lost power in the nearby area today, and they were telling me about it. The Wi-Fi was out and everything, and I'm thinking to myself, but I didn't say it. It's Mercury retrograde. Be
Well, let
careful.
me tell you a confession about me today. I had an appointment scheduled from 6 to 6:30. When I looked at my watch, it was 7:15, okay, which is not 6:30. I called the lady, apologized. She was very, very nice, very receptive. And to come to find out, she enjoys watching us do these formats, which I thought was interesting. Out of Detroit. Thanks, Miss Turner. Appreciate that very much. But yeah, it goes like that. And something says, Lloyd, I think you got an appointment at 6. But I'm looking at my watch and it say way after 6. And so, this is the thing. And by the way, this is very important too in Mercury's retrograde. Let's say you got an appointment where you got to be there exactly at 5:30. You should prepare to leave way before then. Or if you tell a person, listen, I'll be there between 5 and 5:15, in case there is a delay or a snag. Because you know how did you late for an important appointment or interview and you missing it, you late, you get all worked up and you be sweating and all that stuff. And by the time you get there, you all very anxious and stuff. So I'm saying when Mercury goes retrograde, and there 3 times this year for 2025, it's going under all water signs this year. It simply means to take your time or leave way in advance. And I'd rather you be there early and wait, which always looks good to an interviewer anyway, they will tell you, than to get there late and wrong and you sweating and you trying to get your act together and get your thoughts together. So the timing is everything. So when Mercury retrograde occurs, which we will outline throughout the course of each of the zodiac signs, you will be prepared. That's all.
I have a question about what you just said. You said all three of the Mercury retrogrades will be in water signs this year.
Mhm.
Because we're going into a year that's ruled by fire, do you think it would change the impact, maybe increase the impact of the Mercury retrograde or change it in any way?
That's an excellent question because we know water and fire don't go together. And so, water, since it rules emotions and feelings, where fire rules passions and assertiveness, there are likely to be some real misunderstandings if people are not aware. And especially if these Mercury retrogrades appear on the weekend of a full moon in whatever months they occur. Because Mercury, when there's a full moon, on the weekend, and it happens to fall in the period of one of these Mercury retrogrades, it would only just heighten people's emotions. People who are sitting on edge, because 9 is a volatile number to the negative. It's a humanitarian number, no question. But to the negative, it's always a second associated with war and conflict and arguments and confrontations and abuse, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And so these will be the things that will happen. Good questions, Miss Kimberly.
Thank you. And I also want to bring up the fact that those that are born on a five or are have the zodiac sign of Gemini or Virgo, they may can expect a larger or bigger impact from the Mercury retrograde than most people.
Yes, and the reason why you say that for people who may not understand is because Gemini and Virgo, although they're ruled by different elements, are ruled by the common planet of Mercury, which is the planet of communications. So you're absolutely correct. So for those under Gemini and Virgo, and especially if you're born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of the month, this has an even more impactful situation on what you're doing. Very good. Very good. Man. I love these questions. Love these
Thank
questions.
you. I got a good instructor. Got a good instructor. Well, let's move on to these zodiac signs because I know everybody wants to get down to what next year is going to be like for them on a personal level. So, can you start with our zodiac signs?
Yes, and I'll even include the birth date of a person going through that. So if a person's under their astrological or moon or ascendant is under the sign of Aries, the theme for the month of the entire year of 2025 is about completions. What do I mean? That for all Aries, or if they're born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of the month, this is a year to wrap things up. This is a year to fold the deck. This is the year to not look back. This is the year to let bygones be bygones, okay? And it's not easy for Aries because Aries are known as fighters. They tend to they can be confrontational, they can be argumentative, but this is a time where they need to use the act of understanding, inspiration, and motivation, which is the more powerful side of the nine, to bring things to a completion. You know, you can end a relationship without being at each other's throats. We've just outgrown each other. You know what I'm saying? We just on different levels now. We just evolved. One person evolves, another person don't, which leaves them no choice but to end or complete that situation. See what I'm saying? So, but yet on the other hand, for our Aries, it's going to be a year before it's all over of dreams come true. Now, what do I mean? So for those Aries, ain't all depends on your motivation, your incentive, your intentions. So for all of you Aries that want the best in your life and want to have some measure of fulfillment, this year is also a year of dreams come true. This is a year of manifestation. This is a year to those things that you've been seeing in your mind for the longest time that you denied or put on hold, you can now manifest them and make them come true. Now, they're going to be money months because I know people say, well, okay, Lloyd, now you talk about Aries. What about my money? Well, I got news for you. The months that are going to be very favorable financially in terms of career or money or promotions or stepping out on your own will be in the months of January. It'll be in the month of May. It'll be in the month of June, August, and October. Now, I know some areas are saying, well, okay, brother, what about relationships? Well, I got you there too, because it's in the month of February, June, August, and November. Those are going to be the relationship months for all Aries or people born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th for this particular month. Well, Lord, listen, I need to get out of Dodge. You know, things been working my nerves. I need to travel somewhere. Well, that's in January, for example. That's in May. That's in July, September, as well as the month of October. If they want to get the best or get out of town, whether that trip is long distance, short distance. But if they want to go somewhere by the sand, sea, and sun, it's in July. But if they want to go somewhere long distance, that's in the month of September. And if they want to go somewhere new, definitely October is the best choice. Well, what about their health? Well, this is very important because for Aries, normally they're more injury prone. For number nines, they're more injury prone and accident prone than illness prone. Therefore, Aries got to take their time in April, their birthday month. They also got to do it in June as well as the month of September Take it easy, slow it down. You know what I'm saying? Don't let things get to your to throw you off your center. Now, what about the sign of Taurus? Well, if your sun or your moon or ascendant is in the sign of Taurus, or let's say you're born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th, the theme for you throughout the entire 365 days is family life, family ties, family commitments. And nobody does it better than Taurus, because Taurus is ruling the second house in the zodiac, which deals with the house of possessions. Although Cancer technically rules family, well, Taurus is the next best thing to Cancers. So in this case, with all Cancers, especially the women, they're going to be redoing their hair. Okay. They're going to be losing weight, a pound or two. And I got to be honest, nothing personal, Miss Kimberly. I ain't never met a woman that didn't want to lose a pound or two. But I always tell a woman, a man likes a woman with some meat on the bones. Okay. So over and above that, I'm just saying that for all Cancers, the men and women, because this is a good year, they should go back to school or take a course, whether it's online, whether it's at a university, whether it's at an educational center, whatever the case is. This is a time where all Cancers should get into, all Tauruses, excuse me, they should get into some form of exercising, whether losing weight, whether walking, whether aerobics, whether Pilates, call it what you will. But the point is to be better. And because the best medicine for Tauruses is always sunlight, fresh air, and brisk air, I would say for those Tauruses that like to stay indoors all the time, this is the year where you should get out where the sun is bright, the weather may be balmy, or if it's not freezing cold, this would be a good time for them. All duties and responsibilities should be met. And if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you make a promise, do it. That's what the family life and family ties are about. Well, I know Taurus is to say, well, Lloyd, what about the money? But let's deal with my raises, promotions, stuff like that. Well, they can look for February and April. They can also look for August, September, as well as November, as these are their financial months. I know Taurus say, well, okay, what about relationships? Glad you asked, because February, May, as well as September and November will also bring those things in. In fact, where both September and November are concerned for Tauruses this coming year, it is going to be a period whereby both romance and finance will be happening at the same time. So they're going to have the best of both worlds. But if they want to travel, they're going to find that January, March, and April, followed by August and October, are going to be the more beneficial months for them to break out, to go on a vacation, to get away for a couple of days, or embark on long distance trips, or go somewhere where there's the sand, the sea, and the sun. And as far as health is concerned, the month of March, July, September, and December will be cautionary. And it's not panic that your health will be bad. It's like maybe you may not be feeling well. Just go see your doctor. That's all you got to do. It's real, real simple. All right. Now, what about Geminis? Let's say so. Well, for Geminis, if your sun or moon or ascendant is in the sign of Gemini, or if you're born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of the month, the theme for you is about dramatic changes. Big, small, and in between, but make it dramatic. Don't be half stepping. Okay? Don't have one foot in, one foot out. Make a commitment. Don't stick your toe in the water, jump in. And this all depends on the changes you want. And because it's in this period that, and by the way, I'll talk about the Mercury retrogrades too, because for Geminis, this time is about not only changes of a major nature, but career opportunities too. A chance to turn their lives around, the chance to promote themselves to the height. So all Geminis that want to, especially those Geminis with literary talents, a gift with writing and speaking and acting and going before the public, this is when you should push yourself. If not, you can wait to 2035 or 2034 rather, when it's the next 9-year cycle, about 9 years up the road, and wait that time. But why wait when you can do it this particular year? And it's very interesting because with it, Geminis are going to really have a greater sense of freedom. They're going to want more space. So if you're dealing with a Gemini person or a person that's born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd, you will find that their desire as they get closer and into 2025 is they want more freedom, more flexibility. I don't want you checking on me, accounting, because Gemini is air, and 5 is the air number. And so I tell people, if they're dealing with Geminis and Virgos or number 5s, the best way to do it this year is to hold on to them. You let them go. Don't be clocking them. And it sounds counterintuitive, but those are the ones that will stick around the most. Okay. Now for Geminis, but the money part, they're going to find that the months of March and May and September, October, and December are going to be their financial periods when they begin to do things, especially in the month of May for Gemini, just 1 month before their birthday. As relationships, as soon as we kick in January, followed by March and June, October, as well as December, these will be, and when I say relationship, it's not just boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. I mean, relationships, you can meet people that wind up having a meaningful impact in your life with your career, with helping you resolve a problem. You know, you meet a lawyer to get you out of a bad situation. They happen to be a Gemini. Hey, you make the sign of the cross and count your blessings. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends, because relationships, and this is one that in my Power Series cycles, I'm going to be talking about relationship cycles, because relationships have so many different layers to them. And this will explain it. So when I say relationships, yes, if it's personal, beautiful. If it's non-personal, beautiful. If it's business, beautiful. But the point is, there are going to be some kind of interactions with people going on. Now, what about for travel? Because Geminis love to travel. So February and April and May, followed by the month of September and November, will be their ideal times. As for the health, since Gemini rules the nerves, January, as soon as we get into the new year of January 2025, followed by followed by April, followed by August, as well as the month of October, will be the months that are going to be very, very significant for Geminis. Now, what about Cancers? For Cancers, if your sun, your moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Cancer, or if you're born on the 2nd, or the 11th, or the 20th, or the 29th of the month, your theme this month is about relationships. As that says, Taurus is about their situation, but for Cancers, this is the natural home, and it's the home of family, it's the home of the mother, it's the home of the nurturing period. So for all Cancers, this will be an excellent time to mend fences for those that have been broken, to separate from those that, okay, no longer serve a purpose, and you found that they've been selfish and have ulterior motives all along. But this will be the time to let them go. For Cancers, this particular time, this particular year, more than likely they're going to be changing their diets. They're going to be more adhering to the dietary laws. And with ultra processed food now being more put out there that is really not that good, for Cancer mothers, especially, and Cancer women, they're going to be even more mindful of what they bring home to their family and feed their children at the table, those kinds of things. For most Cancers, they're going to want to be changing the home, rearranging. The couch was over there. I'm tired of looking at that couch over there, and I want to put it over here. Things of that nature too. And also, there likely to be changes at the workplace for a lot of Cancers. New supervisor, new workstation, new location, things of that nature. But for Cancers this year, the strategy is to be sweet and irresistible. It's like when a daughter wants something from her father, they so nice, okay? You ask any daughter that's got a father, and she tell you when she wants something, she gonna be so sweet. Well, that's what you do. It's like, it's almost Cancers make themselves irresistible. That it's hard for me to tell you no. Even though I need to tell you no, I can't tell you no, okay? It's that kind of energy. Cash-wise, well, they'll find that March and April, financially going to do well, and especially in the month of June, that's going to be a good time for them, especially in the second week from the 8th through the 14th, and then August and December. So these are the 5 financial months that Cancers will have. As far as relationships are concerned, and then relationship cycle, believe it or not, April, June, and September are the ones that are likely to be outstanding. And as for travel, well, you'll find that March going in and May, followed by July, August, and December will be made just for them. And as for Cancers with the health, and don't forget, it don't have to be your health. It could be the health of a loved one, or health of a good friend, or coworker, somebody that affects you, is almost as if you were in some challenges health-wise. They'll find that February, April, July, and November will be the months in which those concerns are. But that's when you always see a medical doctor. Leos, if your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Leo, or if you're born on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 21st of the month, your theme this year, this entire year, is about independence. Don't be messing with Leos this year. Now, y'all can do it all you want to, but you're going to get your feelings hurt. I'm going to tell you straight up, okay? I'm going to save all y'all a lot of wear and tear. They not the one. Y'all go jump on another sign. I'm only kidding. Leos are just as nice as they want to be, but not this year. I try to be serious, but I add like a little humor, so it's not that bad. Here's what I'm saying. Independent Leos are very self-reliant anyway. They're very independent, whether married, single, committed, or whatever the case is. But this year will just bring out more of that spirit of independence, more of that spirit of self-reliance, more that year of stepping out on faith, whether it's a career, whether it's relationships, whether it's a job or whatever. The point is they want to assert themselves. Their three best friends are Leo, Leo, and another Leo. That's it. Okay? It's about what they want to do throughout the entire year. Normally, in a cycle that Leos are in this year, this is an ideal time for a lot of them to go into business, start their own business, or go into business, step out on faith, as I call it, where you kind of don't know how you're going to do it, how the resources, but you know enough that something is inside of you that says, I got to give this a shot. Because as I often tell people, especially Leos this year, what you don't want to do is go up the road a bit and mentally kick yourself for not giving it a chance. And whatever you start this year for Leos will set the stage for the next 9 years. So therefore, be self-assertive, be bold, be daring, be independent in your relationships. And when I say relationship, that could be personal, family members, co-workers, children, relationships in general. As far as the money is concerned, well, April is going to be important, May, July, as well as the month of September. Those are going to be the especially monetary months for them where they're likely to do well. And as for relationships, January and May, followed by July and October are more the relationship months. And again, it's not just boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. I think people tend to be myopic when you say relationship. It's always got to be a loved one or a lover or something. But I'm talking about the people who can help you get to the next level. The people, we got to kind of widen our horizons about relationships and just keep it in a very narrow lane, okay? As for travel, the month of April is going to be great. They should go somewhere where there's the sand, sea, and sun. There's June, there's August, and particularly the month of September where they do something totally new and different with their lives. It's going to be real nice in August, September. As for health, they got to be a little bit mindful in March. They also got to be a little mindful in May, August, as well as the month of December, okay? So that's what they got to do. Now, what about those Virgos in the house, okay? Well, if your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Virgo, or you're born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of the month, your theme this year for the entire 365 days is public activities. What do I mean? Well, normally Virgos are normally kind of homebody. They're earth sign. They like to kind of stay close to home. But a lot of your opportunities are going to be gotten by getting out of the house rather than staying in the house that much, okay? It's not like opportunities will come and knock on your door like you've been waiting. No, you got to get out there and chase that puppy, okay? That's what you got to do. And so if you take that kind of attitude, you'll find that opportunities will present itself in a big, big way. Normally, with the cycle that Virgos will be in this entire year for 2025 coming up, it's going to be a year for them where they can broaden their horizons and begin to really show what they can do with the public. Get into writing, public speaking, diversify your talents, your gifts, your skills, your abilities, and not just sticking your head in a book, which is Virgos are known to do, or analyzing things all the time, but begin to diversify and become more well-rounded, and you'll find that opportunities will come your way. So as far the money is concerned, that's the month of March and May. Also September, October, and December. Those are the 5 money months. And as for relationships, that's in January, followed by March, followed by June, October, and December as well. So what about travel? Because they happen to be in a travel cycle. That's in February and April for sure. That's in May, September, as well as November. And as far as the health, be especially mindful in January, April, August, and the month of October. If they can keep that in mind, they're likely to do very well. Now, what about Libra? Okay. If your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Libra, or if you happen to be born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of the month, the theme for you this entire 365 days is about duty and responsibilities. And really, nobody can do it better than a Libra or a Taurus since it's ruled by the planet of Venus. In other words, Librans, if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you know what I'm saying, there's this saying, talk is cheap. Well, if you got that kind of conversation, you Librans or people born on the 6th, 15th, or 24th, where you making an empty promise or just say something just to keep somebody from working your nerves, you did it better by just being very honest and being a good steward and speaking your truth. This year, for a lot of Librans, it's about how you make the adjustments in life. You know what I'm saying? Libra is a cardinal sign, which means it starts off the season of fall, but be adjustable enough to be flexible and adaptable. So whatever changes has to be taken, especially around in a family way, because it deals with home, family, education, kids, mates, friends, family members, things of that nature. So it's going to be very, very, very important for them. Um, it's going to be a good time, as I may have mentioned earlier, about going back to school or getting involved in a weight loss or exercise program for themselves too, somewhat like their counterpart of Taurus. It's also ruled by the planet Venus. And they're going to find that this particular year, that the months of February, April, and August, as well as September and November, financially are going to be the months that they've been looking for. As for relationships, good, bad, or indifferent at whatever level, that's coming in February, May, September, as well as the month of November. Well, what about travel? Normally, Librans and Tauruses stay close to home, but travel is indicated right after we start the month of January of 2025. There's travel possibilities. There's also the month of March and April, followed by August and October. And see, here's the point to remember too when we're talking about this, that when you are dealing with these travel months or whatever the month is, let's say you don't actually travel in January, but it don't mean you don't start a plan to do it, and then you do it later on and you'll actually plan that month. And as far as the health is concerned with Libra, March and July, followed September and December, all the months in which they need to be mindful. Go get that health checkup if you haven't had it for a while, all right? Now, what about the sign of Scorpio? If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Scorpio, or if you're born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th, this month, this whole theme for 365 days for 2025 is about endings, letting go. Sometimes you can hold on to things longer than you need to, but this year is saying sometimes, they got this thing called dead weight. And if something is not productive in their life and holding on, it will drag them back. So this year, it's about, when I say ending, learning what to let go. You hold on to things of value. You hold on, you let go of things you no longer need or that you've outgrown or no longer serves a purpose, whatever that may be. And so in letting go, it lightens your load so you can fulfill your dreams, manifest the things you want to do, inspire other people, bring out the best in other people, things of that nature. 9 being a confrontational number means be careful how you end it. Don't end something in an argument. Don't end something in a confrontation. Don't end something, well, I pull out my weapon, you pull out your weapon. That's not the way to end things. Your thing is to kind of end it where, because the cycle you end this year says you use the more humanitarian approach to do things, the more brotherly love approach to do things rather than the confrontation. Now, you don't have to listen to none of this conversation. But if you get into something confrontational it could maybe cause injury or be fatal or stuff like that. It can't be said you didn't have this conversation on this segment. And so if understanding that, so Scorpios need to just kind of say, okay, these are the things I've outgrown. These are the things I don't need. And I need to get this aside. But financially, they'll find that January, May, and June, followed by August and October, will be their months of opportunities for finance and making moves with their career and raises, promotions. And as far as relationships, that's going to be around February, June, August, and November. Those are going to be the relationship months. And as far as travel is concerned, January and May, followed by July, September, and October will be the better months for travel. And since 9 tends to be an injury and accident prone number, you got to be careful in April, followed by June, followed by the month of September as well. So we're getting down the home stretch. So what about the sign of Sagittarius? Well, if your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Sagittarius, or if you're born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month, your goal, your theme for the entire 365 days for 2025 is about expansion. That makes sense because Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter, which deals with expansion, which deals with creativity, which deals with imagination, which deals with growth, and anything that makes life bigger and better. This is the time where they need to explore all their options. It's a very social cycle. And Sagittarius is a social sign anyway. So telling them that is like saying you ain't tell me nothing I didn't know. But it would just allow them to spread their wings more. But what's important for Sagittarians this year is they're going to be put in a better position to make the kind of contacts to take them to the next level. Because don't forget, I don't care what nobody says, it's still a who know who world that we live in. And it's in that spirit that you have to take advantage of people you know that can help take you to the next level. This person you know may help make your life easier by going to this place and whatnot. So take advantage of that. For Sagittarians, this year is to be positive. Don't settle for nothing less. Don't let nobody steal your joy. You know, misery love company. So why should you Sagittarius be happy this year when we can make life just boring and challenging for you? So don't allow those things. Think big, think success, think prosperity. And it's also called the good luck cycle too. So a lot of Sagittarians, y'all would be my new best friend. So if I'm hanging around a lot of Sagittarians this year, y'all know why, because y'all going to be the ones that's getting the money and doing very well and stuff like that. I mean, you know, I know how to pick and choose my battles, okay? So with that being the thing, I'm only kidding, Sagittarians, okay? My daughter's a Sagittarius. I'm going to call her too. So anyway, but for the money part, well, February and March, May, July, and November are going to be very important for them financially, materially, with their careers and raise promotion and stuff like that. As far as relationships, that's somewhere around about March and May and August and December. That's going to be the better time for them to deal with their relationships, whether good, bad, or indifferent, whatever the case may be. Well, what about travel? Well, that's in February, followed by April. Their opposition period of June, which means just double check when you're doing it, as well as July and November. And then for the health part, just be careful as you open up the year of 2025 in January, followed by March, June, and the month of December. Those will be very important to you too. Alrighty, now what about Capricorns? Well, if your sun or moon or ascendant is in the sign of Capricorn, or if you're born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th of the month, for you, this year it's about being business all the way from top to bottom. Well, Capricorn is a business sign anyway. It rules the 10th house in the zodiac, which is house of career, the house of achievement and recognition and doing things on a grand scale. So Capricorns are in a very auspicious year to make a lot of inroads into, and in fact, the cycle that Capricorns are in this year is called their finance, then romance cycle for the year. That means for some of them, they may get raises, get promotions, step out on their own, become entrepreneurs. For others, they may be married, maybe separations, maybe divorces, all depending on the circumstances. It is also a pregnancy cycle, so a lot of Capricorns will be giving birth to ideas and ideas and concepts and objectives and things like that. And to a lot of Capricorns, believe it or not, although that's considered the old sign in the zodiac, is going to be doing a lot of growing up. They're going to be reconnecting with their past, funerals, weddings, christenings, baby showers, reunions, family reunions, college, high school reunions, something, block reunions. But there's going to be that kind of energies that Capricorns are going to be more philosophical as a result of the year. Financially, February, especially in the second week from the 8th to the 14th. And then also in the month of June and July, September, November are their financial months to do whatever they need to do. As far as their relationships, that's the month of March and July, September, and December. Those will be the best times for Capricorns to form relationships, break relationships, or whatever is on the agenda in that way. And as for travel, their birthday month of January, late December, January, followed by February, followed by June, August, October, and November will be the months in which they get an opportunity or chance to travel, whether they do or not. The opportunity will present itself to do so. And since Capricorns tend to be misdiagnosed more than any other sign, other than the number 8 or number 4, which is Aquarius too. Your stress months will be January, May, July, as well as October. So just be mindful and whatnot. And definitely, I always tell a Capricorn or an Aquarius or a 4 and an 8, always get a second opinion. It's no affront to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you understand that the third leading cause of death to U.S. citizens is medical errors over and above cancer and heart attack. So that's all I'm saying. Well, what about Aquarius? So if your sun, your moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Aquarius, or if you're born on the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd, or the 31st of the month, your theme during this entire 365 days of the year for 2025 is to simply be structured. They have a plan. And let me tell you why it's very important for Aquarians. Because we Aquarians, yes, I'm dragging myself into it too, okay? We Aquarians can be something else. We'll go with spirit, okay? That's great. But this year it says you're going to have a plan, buddy. You know, the spirit, the impulsiveness, the sudden spontaneity, all that works. But this year you're going to have a little bit more structure. You're going to have to keep it a little tight. Okay. And if they do that, Aquarians will be the beneficiaries and number 4s will be the beneficiaries of this year. It simply means having a plan, a blueprint, a diagram, a roadmap, call it what you will, a GPS to guide you where you know where you're going from step A to step B, from step B to step C or D. And because the cycle you're in also is going to allow for the odd and unusual, you have to keep that in mind too. So if you're just assuming that everything is going to go well, just as when you least expect it, something to come up and throw your rhythm off. So by having a structure, having a plan, having a kind of idea how you're going to go from one point to another will make all the difference in the world. This year, for Aquarians who, especially the younger generation of Aquarians that grow up thinking they are entitled, that you owe me something, you will be rudely disappointed this year because this is the kind of cycle that we Aquarians are in where what we put in is what we get back. Nothing in, nothing out. Okay? So if you think you're going to sit home and play video games all year or play couch potato watching TV and expect somebody to knock, you're going to be sorely, sorely disappointed. But if you get out there and beat the bushes and put your shoulders to the wheels and do what you have to do and put in the work up the sweat, the compensation will come in direct proportion to your efforts, okay? As for the monies, January and February are going to be your career and money months, followed by April, June, October, and November. Actually, Aquarians have 6 money opportunities. I'm glad I'm an Aquarius. I really am in this way. I know that sounds selfish, but hey, I'm an Aquarius, so what can I tell you? Anyway, then for relationships, that's in February and April, as well as the months of July and November. Those are going to be good for kind of relationships where you do things either of a personal, business, or otherwise other nature with it. As far as travel is concerned, January, March, followed by May, June, October, and December. So it's very interesting for Aquarians, both in the world of travel and money. 6 months present itself for this sign this particular year. And as for the health, well, don't forget Aquarians, a lot of their health has to do with their state of mind, on things that are sudden and unexpected that you least have seen or look forward to. And that's in February, May, September, as well as the month of November. Now, saving the best for last, you Pisces. I know y'all been waiting, but if your sun, your moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Pisces, or if you're born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month, the theme this year, throughout the 365 days a year, is about imagination. This makes sense because now the new planet assigned to your sign is Neptune. It deals with the imagination. It deals with what you can create. It deals with, in fact, Hollywood it comes under the sign of Neptune. And don't they create all kind of movies and things like that? This kind of goes beyond the real world. Well, use your imagination to problem solve. Yes, you may have challenges, but be creative. I think some famous scientist says, to do the same thing over and over again without this, we can get the same results with no results is like insanity. They were nice about it, but that simply means you're wasting your time. But in the case of Pisces, though, it's really going to give them a time to be more creative, to come up with creative ideas of problem solving. And the thing I like about the year you're in, the more people dare you where you can't do, the more you're going to rise to the occasion as a result of your imagination and your creativity and your determination to succeed. It's going to be a very social time for you. It's going to be a time where things begin to expand and improve financially and with contacts and associations. So take advantage of all of that. And you're going to find that don't take yourself too seriously. Learn how to laugh at yourself. That's the hardest thing to do when you make an error. We beat up on ourselves. But for Pisces this year, if you make an error and something like that, now, if it's a deadly error, that ain't nothing to smile about, okay? But if it's just an error in general, just laugh at yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's too will pass. You will have no problems. As for the financial areas that Pisces should look out for, look for February, March, May, and July to be the top dog months to improve their financial situation. As for relationships, that's in March and May and August, as well as December. Well, what about travel? Well, February, followed by April, followed by June, July, and November will be the most ideal time for you to do this. And finally, as far as the health, January and March, which is normally the birthday month of Pisces, followed by June and December, will finally be those months which you need to mind yourself or get a general checkup. And before we end, I want to talk about the retrogrades because there are 3 retrograde periods that will begin all in water signs. The first retrograde for 2025 begins on March the 14th and end on April the 7th, okay? Then the second Mercury retrograde in the water period of Cancer starts on July 17th and ends on August the 11th. The final retrograde of the year in the water period of Scorpio starts on November the 9th and it ends on November 29th. These will be the periods in which Mercury retrograde will present itself. Now, there are going to be other constellations in the heavens that's going on that affect things. Pluto is stuck in Aquarius until the next 20 years. So you ain't got to worry about that. That's set. Okay. But there's going to be a lot of revolutionaries going on. And people are going to say, why? Here's what I'm saying. When I say that, people are going to be questioning, like, why is my food going up? Why is my rent, my car, everything is going up except my salary? People are going to begin to address those kinds of questions. And so for those that are stuck on greed and trying to have all the money and you don't have no money, there's going to be a sort of revolution because Pluto is a transformational revolutionary sign, just like Aquarius. So since it's sitting there, I'm saying for those who are like looking down on people, you're about to have your turn. And the next thing you're going to be looking up at people. Okay. That's what's going to happen. And for those who've been down and out, you're going to find that there's going to be a paradigm shift where things will begin to move in your favor and you're going to see the light of day. But I'm saying common sense says, how you going to get billions of people to this war, billions of people to that war, and for the people in North Carolina that had the flood, well, the most we can give you is $720. You can't do nothing with no $720 when you just ruin your house and whatnot. So these are the things I'm just letting you know that people are going to really begin to question, why is everything going up except my pay? It's like they take 2 steps up and go 4 steps back, not 3 steps, but 4 steps back. And so
And I
people,
think it's something that's already started happening. This
yes,
is because I believe in the shadow period. So I believe that this has been happening for a while now. And as we can see, there has been an increase in all of those things that you talked about. So it's happening right now before our eyes. And it's something that we're going to have to prepare our mindsets for because it's a major shift. It's a
yes, it
major
is.
shift.
Yeah, and it's going to be like this, and it's not just temporary. There's a lot of people that's going to be put in check. So this whole thing, well, 2030, you won't want for nothing. I don't think that's, when the stars impel, it says the best laid plans go astray. So I don't care how these elites have been planning and plotting and think everything is in place. When the sign of Aquarius, which we're in the age of Aquarius, and Pluto comes into play, as it's doing now, I would not roll my dice with them, to be honest with you. The stars are much more powerful than man. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, and I embrace this time. I embrace this time because it's
Yeah,
time to, we have to, that's what we're here for. We're here to grow, evolve, and change. We're not here to stay the same all the time. And so, for those who are not ready to grow, then we got to push them along. And that's where Pluto comes in.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I want to let you know you can't tell Aquarius what they should do. Telling Aquarius to be structured is just like saying Aquarius do whatever you want to do.
That's like being in a straitjacket because we're going to do just the opposite. And you know what's also interesting too? Anybody born on the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd, or the 31st, they're just
That
as
includes
resilient.
me.
That's, I was
You're
trying
trying
to
to
say
call
the
me
same.
out.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, you just as bad as me. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
how I know.
Yeah,
That's how I know.
yeah. So, but I like the way we do it, and I must for this presentation, I must congratulate you because it was almost December of last year we did this piece going into 2024 for the signs, and now we're doing it again for all the signs for 2025. We've also
And
done what's up for all the months. I mean, everything. You're saying?
the what you did today, you added so much. Like you talked about the money months, the relationship months. I mean, it was very deep,
And
very
I could have got more
detailed.
into the weeds, and the weeks within those months in which to do that. But I know we have a limited time, and maybe one day we'll do that and take it and then go into all the specific weeks within those months and whatnot. So there's a lot to this, but this is fun, and this
And
is a project to work on.
I want to say if they want to reach out to you, they can reach out to you at uh, Linktree / numbers and you, and
Mhm.
they can also you have an app. Can you tell us about the app?
Well, I have a powerful app that helps you time when is the best thing to do. So it's called a star 8, ASTAR, the number 8. You can either download it on Amazon or Android or go to my website and download it directly from there, a star8.com. That's AS, just a like bright star that's over your head here in your background. You go to think of a star in the heavens with a number 8 attached to it, such as infinity. So it's ASTAR, the number 8.com. That way you got your choice of loading on from Android, loading on from Apple, but it's offering, yeah, that's what it is right there. See? Yep, yep, yep. I see you got a star day today. Uh, and that's good. And it's got a calendar. It deals with relationships, cars, travel, business. It's a whole lot more. It's a lot to it. Your name analysis, your personality, your best days, your jewels, your lucky colors. It's just it's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love though. It really
I
is.
lean on it for everything. Whenever I plan stuff, I go to the app because I need to know how many stars I got today, whether they're green stars or red stars. And
Yeah.
please don't do anything on a red star day.
Well, you can, but if it don't go that way, and I've experienced it because I was doing something and I lost it in the heavens, and the person asked me what that have. I had a double red star day. I didn't even look at my own app. Okay, so and you know what? I started looking at my app ever since. Every time I want to do something, kind of like with, because I have a passion about things, I'll check and see if I got some green stars. Yes, I got some red stars. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. So I follow my own stars and whatnot. And
Speaking of following the stars,
mhm.
let's talk about the Power Series. What is the Power Series? And let's talk about the very first one.
Well, the Power Series is my pride and joy that each month from January until December of 2025, I'm going to feature series. So, for example, on January the 21st, it is the power of your numerical cycle. So, yes, I've talked with all the zodiac signs, what's in general, but now we need to go specific. And I'm going to be talking about how to determine these cycles, how to determine the best times within those months or the best weeks within those months to take advantage when it's at its peak and also when it's at its lowest form. I'm going to also be teaching about the cycles of timing, how you want to do things anytime you want to start something, end something, go for business, or whatever the case is. And also, there's another cycle too called the Rosicrucian cycle that goes from birthday to birthday. It's broken into 7 divisions of 52 days each. So people, as they're coming around to their 52-day cycle of their birthday, is called the critical cycle. And most times when people are injured or unlived, as they now call it. Okay, that's the new word, unlived. It will happen in their critical cycle. You know, so all
Wow.
these things I will share with you. Seating is limited. Please click on the QR code at the bottom right and just sign up. We've got some people sign up; they're already ready. And then in February, it's going to be on relationships. Then in March, it's going to be on precious metals. Then in April, it's going to be on health and so it's just a lot. Got to each month. Oh, and last year I started a numerology course of how to teach people to do this as a career. And in fact, the first group was so good. They formed their own club. They, in fact, have been appearing on guests on shows such as mine and yours, and it's very nice. But this teaches you, so no matter where you go, and in fact, from that workshop that we had, we got somebody in from Thailand, we got somebody from California, we got somebody in New Orleans, we got somebody from Philadelphia, the Bronx. It's just a whole cross sections of people from Hawaii. But it lets you know, as long as human beings are walking this planet, you can do this and how to do this as a living, especially since unemployment is beginning to be so high. So all these jobs that were guaranteed no longer are guaranteed. But what is guaranteed is people are going to always walk the planet. And when they walk the planet, they will always have some birthday, some month, some day, some year, and you will always have their number. And so numbers you and beyond the learning the art of numerology as a career will be made just for you. And so that's on February the 25th. It's a 5-week workshop course and it's a limited offer. All my courses are limited. They are limited. Okay.
And you can reach out to learn more about the numbers in your workshop because you have to be accepted in. So if
Yeah.
you want
Yeah.
to let them know that you're interested, you go to numbers and you podcast at gmail.com.
Thank you very much.
And
Hmm.
you're welcome. And we have, oh, this one.
Well, let me tell you, I love holding hands, okay? And I love holding hands not for the reason that people think they might think I do, but I love holding hands to find out what's going on in the palm, okay? If them lines are not looking good, I don't care how good you look. See, and when they say don't judge a book by a cover, the beauty of palmistry is, do you know now when you go in? I was in some supermarket the other day, and now you put your hands on a thing and it reads your palm print. Okay. So, I mean, if a person travels and they got a global entry pass, they just put their fingerprints in there and they bypass the line. Well, the hand does everything. Not only does it scratch and hug and hold and tie a shoe and hold things firmly, but those lines will tell you a lot about your heart, your mind, your vitality, your feelings, whether mentally you go where in the world of business or in the world of the creative arts, whether you got a heart line that goes all the way over the first finger, which means if you get involved with them, they're going to want to rule you. You can't do so. All these things I'm going to show, and then I'm going to give you in this palmistry course, and click on the QR code to sign up for that. I'm going to give you illustrations of all the famous celebrities that you may know, and you can see their hands. We'll examine their hands. Of course, we're going to examine your hands too. But by the having the power of the hands, you know the length of the fingers. So, for example, if I look at the illustration on here, I'm seeing that the first finger is short, and that's the dictator finger. If it's very long, if it was long as the second finger, I know this person would be very dictatorial or very in a leadership position. But because that first finger is shorter than any of the other fingers, that tells me this person, if they hold authority, would always have to be careful of people trying to bump them from position. And that's just looking at the hand, you know? So when you put all that together, relationships, marriage, children, boys, girls, all that's in the hand. All of that is in the hand. It really is.
That's absolutely amazing. I wonder what they're doing with our handprints these days.
Yeah, but you can now go and I think Whole Foods has it, a couple other stores have it. You can either insert a credit card in there or a debit card, or you can put your hand on here and then read your fingers, read your hands. And no
That
hands are alike. No two hands are exactly like none. Notice we all have eyes, nose, and a mouth, but I can tell you from somebody else. You can tell me from somebody else, but we all got eyes and nose and mouth. But it just the variation of it and the nuance of it, which is why I'll be able to spot you a mile away. You'll spot me a mile away.
make sure that you support. I'm going to this. I'm going to be in this palmistry class. I'm
Very
going to
good.
be. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to be in there,
I was
and
going to say you read my mind. I was going to say, aren't you having something coming on at the very first of the year?
yes, Wednesday,
Tell us
January
all about it.
1st. The Vision Board Mastery, we're going to manifest 2025 on purpose. You'll learn the power of visualization, learn visualization tips. I'll teach you how to do the vision board, and you'll actually create your own vision board, and you'll get to have a group share so you can speak it into existence. And there will be a guided group visualization exercise as we conclude so that you can plant your seeds into the soil of 2025. And please make sure that you click the QR code if you're interested, or you can go to Kimbaley.com. And I want to say thank you so much for your wisdom. Today got really deep, and I hope this answered a lot of questions for people because you touched on a lot of topics within the monthly reading for each zodiac sign,
Mhm.
and it helped to hear the birthday number as well. So, okay, this is what I did. I listened for my sun sign, I listened for
Mhm.
my ascendant because
Mhm.
my sun and my moon are the same. So, I
Mhm.
listened for my ascendant and then I listened to my birth number.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's a lot to
And
take
that,
in.
but that's so wise because that way you kind of get a composite. You know what I'm saying? A texture of it. And then a person can feel more of what is aligned with whatever it is, whether it's they're fitting their sun sign, moon sign, ascendant, or their birth number. So I figured I'd touch all the bases in this particular forecast. So in 2026, I got to think of some more jewels to come up with, which I will do. They will make it even more interesting. Please leave your comments uh, here in this post that are you going by your sign, your ascendant, your moon, your birth number, and tell us whether we're on point or not. I can take it if you say, Lloyd, you don't know what you're talking about. Sometimes I may not. I agree. I accept that. but in the meantime, it gives us a clue. But everybody have been so supportive on our 2025 forecast, where we do all the months from January to February, January to December, naming certain cities and signs and stuff like that. And then the December forecast. So this young lady and I have been very, very busy, and I give her a lot of credit for sparking this inspiration. And I thank you very much, Miss Kimberly.
I give you credit too. Thank you very much. And you're welcome. You're
Good,
welcome.
good, good.
Yes. So next time we'll be back. Will be for January, where we go even deeper.
Yeah, we got a new
Because
concept.
we go week by week in January
Yeah,
by
yeah,
Zodiac time.
yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for coming in, sharing your time, energy, and your wisdom with us today.
One more thing. Did you put down how people can get in touch with you? I don't remember seeing.
Yes, I did.
Okay, good enough. There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, okay. And by the way, folks, she's also an astro-numerologist that's a good reader. And I wouldn't say that unless I knew what I was talking about. She is very, very good. Do give her an opportunity. So, yes, you can get your forecast done, but I'm saying get a personal in-depth reading from Miss Kimberly. You'd be very surprised what. And then she's intuitive too, because if you look at her podcast, you see there's a lot of things she goes and express from within. So I'm just giving you your props because you wouldn't do it.
Well, thank you for interjecting that.
You're welcome, Miss Kimberly.
Just like an Aquarius.
I have a lot of fun with me, I must admit. Thank you
But thank you, though. Thank you.
so much. Thank you. And we thank you too. And all of you have a wonderful, blessed, and a safe 2025 year. It's going to get a little crazy, but just having awareness will make all the difference, hopefully, in the world. And at least it can't be said, Miss Kimberly and I didn't tell you.